Happy New Year. This is the market video for the week of January 5th, 2015. My name is Michael Saul, also known as Tiny, and I will be your guide through the wonderful map of the markets here. So let's start with the S&P 500. I'm using IVV. Got this symbol from Paul. We did the Sunday night strategy session, which we started back up again. And there's a problem with the SPY here. There's a bad tick. So, and actually Paul said that eSignal was saying this is a good tick. So it's on Thinkorswim, it's on eSignal, it's on SPY. Anyway, it bothers me, so I'm using IVV instead. It's the same type of pattern. We're still in an uptrend. We're seeing some weakness here, but it's not much. We are still in a pretty strong uptrend, and we're above the 50-day moving average for now. That's going to be first support on the S&P 500. Can we break below it? Sure. I mean, we did it here, we did it here, we did it here. Doesn't mean that once we break below it, we're automatically in a bear market here. But it's something to definitely observe. I'm not saying it's a great thing. I'm going to do a dance, and you don't want to see me do a dance, but I'm not saying I'm going to do a dance if it breaks through the 50-day moving average, but it's also not the end of the world. All right, I think we're going to turn sooner than later. I think the market is due a bounce here. We're at the beginning of the year. Usually we get some new money flows in, so I am going to be watching for a weakness, either intraday or if we go daily weakness down into this 50-day or even through it a little and then get a reversal. I'm going to be watching for a long side opportunity. Dow is a similar setup. It's higher than the 50. It's holding the 20 EMA for now, but it's a very similar setup. The NASDAQ did not hit a new high into the end of 14. Now, this is definitely, I don't know if it's a red flag, but it's a yellow flag. It's like, hey, you know what? NASDAQ's diverging here, and the NASDAQ has been acting pretty strong. There's nothing I'm really looking at here that puts me in panic mode. And even if we were to break down out of this, I mean, we have support coming up at whole number 100. But, you know, sticking with my bullish lean, I would like to see maybe perhaps it coils a little bit more, or it could come out the high here. I still think that the NASDAQ hits an all-time high. I think they do it this year. Don't know when, but that is my prediction for this year. I don't like to make long-term predictions, but I think the NASDAQ's going to hit a new all-time high. We'll see. Okay, first it has to break out of that triangle. The Russell hit a new all-time high into 14, then pulled back. The rest of the market looks okay, holding the 20 EMA. Mid-cap, same thing. All right, so the market looks okay here. So far, we're just pulling back, but I want to see if the bulls step in here. Okay, semiconductors look like the NASDAQ. I mean, they've been acting pretty strong. Right now, they're in a triangle just like the NASDAQ. Let's look at some stocks. Klatenka pull back to the 20 EMA. If this holds and we do get a bounce of the NASDAQ and the stocks, watch this one. Could be a nice opportunity. Intel, small double top here, but not looking terrible. NVIDIA, looks more like the NASDAQ here, right, with the triangle. Sorry, I knew I'd get the word out of my mouth. Sorry, it's late, guys, so I have to, you have to give me a break here with, sometime I'll get a little tongue-tied. But you can see here, Klatenka, it looks the best. Doesn't mean it's going to work. You always have to wait for confirmation, but it looks pretty nice. Here's ADI, also looks okay. Banks look good. All right, they're pulling back as well. Bank of America, pretty strong, looking nice hammer. JP Morgan looks okay. State Street looks okay. Citigroup, it's lagging. Not looking terrible, but it's lagging the others. All right, let's look at Bank of New York, which is a BK. It's not looking that bad. Northern Trust. Ugh. As you could tell by my reaction, I mean, it's not looking horrible. It's just not looking like anything. It's just looking sloppy. And Zion's held the 200-day for now. Broker-dealer, looking okay. Nice pullback from the highs here. Goldman, see if Goldman could get off its butt. Push up. Here's Morgan, also looking okay. Morgan sideways here. Okay, what else? Biotechs. Okay, biotechs are in a triangle. Look like the NASDAQ a little bit. Look, this triangle looks a little bit more matured than the NASDAQ one. Let's look at the two side by side. Yeah, I mean, it's more down towards the apex. Doesn't mean it's going to definitely break here, but it just looks like if it doesn't break soon, it's going to kind of dribble out. Here's the bio index, and let's look at some individual stocks. Guild doesn't look that great. Amgen, no, I mean, it's really not looking that great. At BIIB, okay, looks more like the BTK. Let's look at some individual stocks. Caterpillar could be a high or low in here, but the way it rejected its 20 EMA, this is like a kind of like a daily grail. I'm not going to put on the ADX, so I don't know if it's an official grail, but you got this hammer down here you want to watch from the beginning of December. What else are we looking at? John Deere, pull back to the 200 and the 50-day. Right up here, here's Ford. Watch the 200-day moving average there, and GM is above it. General Motors is above it. So if I have to buy an automaker, and I don't have to, but if I were, then you got General Motors looking better than Ford here. How about MA? Yeah, MA's lagging here. I thought MA was going to do a little catch up to Visa, but kind of lagged into the end of the year compared to Visa. Okay, it was definitely the stronger of the two. American Express just kind of looking sloppy. Googleicious. Now I like using the Class A with the L because now it sounds more like Googleicious. Not the strongest of stocks here. It rejected the 50-day moving average, so maybe a high or low, but we'll have to see. Apple. Again, the lower high, not looking great, but you got to watch these lows here, just above 105. Amazon not looking so hot at all. Okay, it looks more corrective than anything. So if this can break through, this may be on a test for a test back down. Netflix trying to get off its butt. Watch the 50-day moving average for potential resistance. Casino stocks, Las Vegas Sands. I mean, that day Friday looks like it may be starting the descent out of the pullback here. Wynn Resorts looks like it wants to retest its lows too. Just wait for confirmation. Bonds acting well. Looks like they want to go higher. Notes as well. Okay, notes compared to bonds are lagging a bit, but 30-year is looking okay here. Could be a high-level cup and handle, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. Gold. Gold is sloppy. Here's the sloppy channel I have, and then you have another sloppy channel here. So I want to watch this, and I want to see which way we're going to come out of here. Here's silver, consolidating here. Crude oil looks crappy. Tried to come out of the wedge to the upside, but got rejected. I think oil is going to bounce sooner than later. I've been saying this, but I've also been saying you can't guess it when that's going to happen. Okay, you kind of got to wait for it to poke its nose up, and then you got to go to an intraday chart and see if you can grab an entry, even if you're a swing trader. Right? So if you're a swing trader and it pokes its nose up, now you go to a 60-minute chart, you see if there's something setting up that you could base your entries off of. But trying to guess here, I mean, you know, crazy. All right, let's look at the grains real quick. Wheat, looking okay, holding the 50-day moving average. Don't like it's back below the 200-day. Let's see if it can turn from here. Corn, 50-day also. And soybeans looking the worst. If I had to pick one of them to go lower, I would pick soybeans, but they're all trying to put higher lows in here. So keep your eyes on these because they can be good traders when they decide to get a little kick up in volatility. Coffee looks lower. I highlighted this in the daily email. Coffee continues to look lower here. This was just a punch up and then a rejection, and then the next day it went lower. Still think coffee has lower prices to be seen. The dollar versus the yen coiled up here. If it can break out, should go to a new high. That's the dollar versus the yen. Here's the inverse. The yen versus the dollar will be going the other way. Here's the Aussie versus the US dollar, also weak. Okay, this looks weak here. All right, and then, of course, let's look at the euro. The euro is extended here. We talked about this in the Sunday night strategy session this week. how the dollar is really kicking up here nice, and the euro moves inversely to the dollar. But it could be overdone here. Again, like crude oil, I think the euro has a chance to bounce sooner than later. I'm not going to try to guess at it, though. But if you're short, just make sure you got stops on, all right? Again, to recap, we're in a pullback here, but I think that we're going to resume the uptrend. I think we're going to go to new highs. I want to see if the bulls can step up here. If not, and we continue to pull back, keep your eye on the 50-day moving average. Keep your eye on this gap fill. And then we got this swing low and the 200-day moving average down here. Any questions? Tiny@stockmarkettrendsx.com. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this video. And I will talk to you in the daily email or in next week's video. Have a great trading week and a great new year.